Storytelling and oral history is the oldest form of human historical record keeping that exists. Ability to connect those dots is something that helps ensure that we don't forget why our ancestors took the actions that they did.
Last workshop, we found that 3 of us were born at Mountainside Hospital in Montclair, New Jersey. We are in the diaspora. I'm thinking of Mary Jean, New Jersey. But her roots are in Cartersville.
To continue to see across generations that tradition and that ritual of families, no matter where you are, coming back home and making sure that that connection is maintained, and oral history is a way to ensure that those traditions and those rituals continue.
Yes, your story, no matter whether it's this long or this long, is important to the whole story. So if you got relatives that were here, maybe your great something, it's still a part of our story.
It's ancestral home.
It's ancestral home.
And so one of the really powerful, important things about oral history is that it is an opportunity for us to, in many ways, get the record straight. By adding our stories, we can challenge some of the things, and frankly, some of the prejudice things that have been written about us by others. This is our chance to make sure that our perspective and our version of events are documented and heard and respected, particularly when it comes to those stories and narratives that are really harmful.
Disrespect, like one of my grandfather's oldest sisters, had it not been for oral history, we would have thought her name was for real Vanilla, like the spice, Vanilla Miller. But oral history told us that her name was Vernilla. But on all these records, her name was Vanilla. Now, I know she was real fair-skinned, but her name was not Vanilla. But even was it even in her obituary? Her grandchildren and great-grandchildren did not know that her name was Vernilla Miller and not Vanilla Miller.
They spelled the last name and had for years. I mean, somebody decided to spell it one way, but they had spelled it another way. When it was more P-O-L-K and P-O-P, the last name was Pope. And Poke.
A correction.
It depends on which,
The power of oral history is the fact that it can add to a story. It simply just have limited information. But when you add to oral histories that have been handed down, and when you talk about the personal and individual experiences, it makes something. We say add seasoning. It adds seasoning to a story that was pretty bland prior to us adding our seasoning to it. I mean, I think we can all think of examples where something has been reported down in a very kind of boring, dry, matter-of-fact way, and then suddenly you're sharing your recollection of it, and that adds a whole new dimension. And so there's the power to correct things that have been misreported about us, but then there's also the opportunity to add as well, and to make these stories more well-rounded and more interesting.
I love that, because our chefs, our oral history chefs, were cousin Florence, and cousin George. You talk about add seasoning? George Mayo was gonna add some seasoning.
That we've seen from the work that Pine Grove has been leading. These stories can become a tool for advocacy. One of the reasons why.
Testimony, heritage story.
No, that's a good testimony. Is a good word. Right?
Yeah.
Public school. I was in public school for
right.
the first 6 years. And I learned a lot because we were in, two-room schools, and you learn other classes by hearing what they were taught. And then what
as our individual testimony, as our collective community testimony, when the harmful things are happening and harmful policies are occurring, it's our voice and the stories that we tell that can push back against those things.
You'll get better books, better quality.
Yeah.
So those problems, because an educational officer say, we're not inferior.
Yeah.
We're not.
About desegregation is that, you know, Black people really wanted to be in the same building as white residents in the community. And once we all got together, Black residents would finally have a quality education.
Well,
That's how it was taught.
Yeah.
The oral history
That's right.
has complicated that story to the point where people are now questioning, you know, that narrative that I just shared.
Yes.
And we know from the oral
Yes.
history that desegregating was very difficult, and our community lost.
Is pictures mean 1,000 words. So for those of you that have large collections of photos, photo albums, photo books, they can be scanned
Yes.
electronically, and we can put them together.